Hello everyone, welcome back, GeoMentor.net here. In today's video, let's learn how to write to the file and how to read from the file. So, writing to the file is, well, fairly simple. Let's create a class file writer. Let's create object of a class file writer, right? So where we want to write we want to write to some file which is called test file.txt, and something is read here, unhandled exception, IO exception. Okay, we know about exceptions. We will surround this with try catch. Now it's not read anymore. What do we want to write there? Well, let's say we want to write my name, and then I can call this more time my surname, and of course we will delimit those with comma. And then you can imagine opening Notepad and typing something. What do you need to do after typing everything you wanted? That's exactly right. You need to save your changes and to exit from the file. We do that by close. So this close is basically writing, actually saving what you wrote, and it exit from that file. So let's give it a try. Run. Okay, our process is finished and we have test file.txt here. And as you can see, exactly what we wanted inside. So let's try to create a program in the similar fashion for reading. So if for the writing we used file writer, well, for the reading probably file reader, right? File reader equals new file reader. We are also reading from the same file, test file.txt. And that reader also has file not found exception, so we are catching IO exception. Don't be confused here by IO, and here we have file not found because that file not found is actually extending IO exception, so that makes sense. Okay, so now let's try, instead of write, to say read. And as you can see, there are few read methods, but all of them return int. And what do we need actually by reading? Do we want to read all the content of the file, or we want to read letter by letter or line by line? Well, let's take a look, control click, and see what this read does. It says read a single character. And this is weird, like, where is that character? What I see, the result of the read method is int. That's not a character, that's a number, right? Shouldn't char be here because this is a single character? Okay. Nevertheless, let's try to system out print line and see what will happen, right? Maybe there will be some exception that will tell us what's the problem. Well, as you might expect, this method returns some integer, and that integer is printed. And that's supposed to be a single character, probably the first one in the file, right? And this is not a surprise. Let me show you this table. This is a very important in programming. ASCII table. So you have decimal here, you have hexa system here, octa system here, and character. What character is that? So basically, there is a way to implicitly convert char to int and int to char. Big capital N is 78. Big capital W is 87. And what we have here? 83, right? So 83 is big S. And that's exactly our first character, right? Big S. if we try to call this method one more time, first time it will read first character 83, and in the second on this line it will read second character. It's 112. 112. Well, that's small p, and that's exactly what we have here. The second character is, sorry, small p. So this file reader actually do read character by character, and we can even try casting here, which will help. If you try this way, instead of integers you will see letters. And probably you're thinking in your head, well, we need to repeat this somehow either with for or while loop, and you're right, while loop is your best friend. And not only that, but in Java there is a class that can read line by line. Okay, so there is a class that reads line by line, but I mean, we have a problem that we only have one line. So let's add a few more persons here. Okay, we have enough. So we would love to read line by line. This can read character by character. Buffered reader, that is the class that can read line by line. Equal new buffered reader. And you can see from the constructor that it really begs you that you pass reader in the constructor, right? So what you can do is you can pass this reader, file reader. This extends input stream reader, but at the end it extends reader. So that's what you want to pass, file reader, this way. And now instead of this, we can say buffered reader read line, and that returns string, right? Line. Let's try to print line, that one line. Okay. Whoa, we got first line. If we tried this twice, we will get two lines, right? And now we just need to wrap this somehow into the while loop, right? So the good question is, what happens if there are no more lines? That's a good question. Like, let's delete two guys here. So now there are no two lines and we're trying to read two lines. Let's see what will happen. Well, second line is null. Okay, so something like this we want to do. Read line, okay, and now we say while line is different from null, print line, that line, right? Line equals buffered reader read line, correct? Let's just go one more time through this. So we are reading first line, and while that line is different from null, we are printing that line, and after printing we read the next line. So and then we are coming here again. If that next line is different from null, and we can go million of times here. Let's return our two friends here. Let's add Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal Roddick. I hope this is this is how it's spelled. Okay, let's give our program a try. Look at this. It's working properly. So we learned how to read from a file, how to write to the file. Okay, we did read from that file, but there is one thing that we forgot to do, and that is to say file reader.close to close the file, and buffered reader. So all of those readers and writers, they need to be closed. And in order not to forget every time to close this crap, now even worse, what can happen, some exception happens here, and then you go right to the catch block and your program skips those two lines. So you need even here in catch block to close those things. Of course, you can define something like this, you know, and so on and so on. So to avoid this close, to avoid calling those close methods, because you might forget that and it's very easy to forget, a good best practice is to create those readers and writers here in this fashion. So you can open those normal brackets like for if condition, and inside you can create your readers, writers, whatever. And that means that these readers or writers or whatever you define here will be automatically closed when this try catch block is done. So regardless of if you went through the try block or catch block, close method is called automatically on those readers and writers after you are done with try catch block. So this is a best practice. Okay, so now when you know how to save into the file, you know how to save data, right? You may heard for data about the databases, and you're asking yourself, why do we need databases? Like, can't I just save the data into file and that's it? And the answer is files are not appropriate every time. For example, let's say that here every person has age, right? And let's say that we want to fetch in our program only persons that are 30 or younger. Well, we can only read line by line from the beginning till the end, and then on our Java side we can filter using if-else statement and so on and so on. So filtering will be on our side. And the most important advantage of databases is the database can give you only persons that are 30 or younger. Database can do that. So it will only, from 1 million persons, it will only give it will only give you 5 persons, 10 persons, regarding of your criteria. Having that in mind, let's learn about databases in the next video. See you there.